When I was 16 years old, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and maybe you have as well. And today I want to share with you the difference between assets and liabilities, because yesterday I was speaking to a lady about this very topic and sharing with her how business owners have an unfair edge in the game of economics and cash because they focus on asset accumulation, which is able to produce them wealth, whereas the working class focus primarily on liabilities. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ben. I'm the founder of Funderbear. We are a matchmaker for businesses and private finance firms. Our private finance firms have funded over 32,000 SMEs in South Africa in the past decade with a total value of 15 billion Rand deployed. Every single month, we get thousands of applications that we then match with the correct finance firm so that business owners can access growth capital so that they can grow their business, they can buy stock, they can buy equipment, they can hire new employees, they can renovate. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that you should do if you get growth capital versus you shouldn't do. So when we take on debt, this is of course a liability. And the problem is that the consumer will take on debt to buy more debt. So they will take on debt to buy an iPhone. They will take on debt to buy a TV. They will take on debt to buy a car. And everything here not only depreciates, but also robs them of attention. And that is valuable attention that they can use building skills or building products and services. So what should we do with debt? We've got to use debt to accumulate assets, okay? So for example, we might use debt to purchase a building. We might use debt to purchase a vehicle that can be used for work. So the difference between your car and a vehicle for a business is that a vehicle can obviously be used for logistics. It can be used to rent out. It can be used to sell. So for example, a car dealership, when they purchase a vehicle to sell it, it's actually stock, okay? Now what about, I guess I could add stock there, right? You could use debt to purchase stock or maybe materials, okay? So these are examples of assets that you can buy with debt. But the problem is that here in South Africa, we've got all these people taking on debt to buy phones, TVs, cars, clothing. Okay, they're buying all these things that are actually making debt grow. So when you're taking up debt as a business, you absolutely want to ask yourself, how can you get this debt to come into the other column here, assets, okay? And what is an asset? An asset is something that you own. So something that you own and something that produces return. Okay? So for example, let's talk about a camera. Okay? A camera. A camera can be used by a photography studio as an asset. So it's a piece of equipment. Okay? Whereas if you were an individual, maybe you're just using a camera in your free time as a hobby. So what we're trying to do is ask ourselves, how can I use whatever I've purchased as debt to become something that I own and that produces a return? And this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love. I love the idea of taking capital and multiplying it. This big X here is a multiple, okay? And we call this shepherding capital. So what are the best things to spend money on as a business owner? When you take on debt, when you use a company credit card, when you use a business loan, when you negotiate terms with your supplier and you finance your invoices, when you go to the bank and get a business loan, what should you use that money for? You must absolutely focus on using it for assets. Use it for vehicles that can increase your capacity or that you can rent. Use it for renovations so that you can increase the value of your space or your building and your customer experience. Use it for equipment, whether you're in construction, whether you're in media, whether you need laptops for your professional service-based business. Use it for stock, if you're in farming, if you're in retail, if you're in FMCG. Use it for materials, if you're in manufacturing. But what you're doing is you're taking debt, you're producing a return. That return is then helping you pay down the interest on the debt so that you walk away with growth. The last thing that you want to do is take on debt to buy more debt. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to learn more about how we might be able to help your business, we've got a completely free funding map and a free newsletter that you can join in the description of this video. That's going to teach you everything you need to know every single week about credit, capital, cash flow, assets, and all the insights that you need to turn your debt into assets so that you can grow your business.